Welcome to the PCS Adventures Educator Spotlight Series. In today's sponsored feature story, we're exploring how can a small town library provide fun STEM experiences for kids? We spoke with Tanya Delphus to find out how she used Traveling Artist by PCS Adventures to engage kids in creative educational art projects. Can you just tell me a little bit about what your experience was like when you first received the product and you unpacked it, and what did you see? What did you experience?
Yes, so when I opened it, I almost cried when I saw all the resources in this little box, honestly, because being a small rural library, we're on a shoestring budget. I mean, when I started unpacking the thing, I was just amazed. Plus all the instructions. Again, we have very limited staff. So I'm always trying to think of things that are less labor intensive, right? So my brain immediately started engaging as I'm opening this box. It was like an explosion of ideas, right? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it just took all the research away for when we do our craft days, when we do our STEAM days. Now I don't have to look up all the stuff. I have it right here in this box. Then in the summer, we are an end destination for outdoor recreation, which means we have hundreds and hundreds of campers here, right? Well, guess what happens when it's pouring down rain? Kids don't want to go outside. Parents don't want them outside because they're going to moms don't because they're going to drag mud in the camper. So they come to the library. So my first thought was, oh my gosh, I can use these for our take and makes. Again, the library was purchasing all the stuff, and it doesn't always come back to the library, so you have to set yourself up for a little bit of loss when you do take and makes. And, it's expensive fiscally. So again, I saw a huge plus for the take and make. So it probably took us a week and a half between me and the staff to put together our take and makes. And again, we pull out the box when we do STEM and STEAM crafts as well, or we utilize them to enhance what we have on hand to do. So that's how it started. And the take and makes is what overrode everything else. We couldn't keep them on the shelves fast enough. So I ended up buying, and again, when I first started, they were in little brown paper bags. And we were scribbling on the bags to remake them because I didn't have enough bags to keep changing them. So I ended up ordering the nice ones that you see now in the photographs, the zipper bags, and they're clear so they can kind of see through them and see what they're wanting to make and pick when they do the take and make. So the take and makes is what really took off. So I'd say 85% of the use was for take and makes, and then the other 15% was in person.
What would you say when you've seen some of the students do some of these projects in the library? What has been your firsthand experience of watching them put these together? Any particular memorable experiences or moments that stand out in your mind?
Yes, I have to tell you, there's this one little guy that comes and stays with his grandma for several weeks in the summer, and he is high functioning on the spectrum. So he can go places by himself and do whatever, but he needs a lot of assistance, right? And so he occupies a lot of my staff's time when he's there at the library. We're not complaining. Don't get me wrong. That's what we're there for. However, my staff was like, oh my God, you need to get out more of those things for him, because he goes back there and works on those things and he's not out here going, can you get me this? Can you get me that? Because again, we put up things, that we don't want the hands to get into. So anyways, he loved it. Well, anyway, it got so crazy that his grandma says, you need to stop letting him make all these things because I don't have places to put all this in my house. That was grandma. So anyways,
yeah, he was engaged though. He was definitely engaged.
Totally engaged and not out wanting other things. It was right in the zippered package. He could open it himself. He could get everything was in there. He didn't have to come and go, where's the scissors? Because those aren't left out. Where's a ruler? Because again, those aren't down low enough for the kids to get. Where's this? Where's that? He had to keep coming. And so again, you're constantly have to, or stay in the back room with him. We have a large library. You can't spend all your time in the back room with the kids. We have to have things that they can do on their own.
And what do you think the main benefit of STEM is, and bringing more STEM into any type of learning environment?
So my experience with the children is when you say STEM, They're like, lame, that's too much like freaking school. And this is their words, not mine. They will have nothing to do with it. However, if I say we're doing a STEAM activity, oh boy, they're Johnny on the spot. We're going to do some sort of arts and crafts. However, I have incorporated STEM or STEAM a little bit into all my STEM activities because they think it's lame-o, too much like school-o. No, we don't want to do that. You know, we want fun. We want interactive. So the traveling artist was amazing for that purpose because it gave me all the resources I needed to get the kids in the library, because that's a first step, right? Especially our demographic changed huge over the last year and a half. We had a family of 12 that moved out. So that was all of our younger kids. And now all of our kids are tweens and teens, right? So we had to completely switch, which we do all the time as a small rural library, switch our focus. So again, the traveling artist was easy for us to transition into now doing bigger or for things for older kids versus things for the younger kids.
That's right. You were telling me that on the phone the other day, how all of a sudden it was able to bring in some of these older kids that would normally want nothing to do with books or reading. And so have you found that there's a connection too with the environment, just bringing them in there at kind of a path that they get brought in for one thing, the STEAM project, and
Yep.
then all of a sudden they're surrounded by books. And is it a win-win from your
Well,
experience?
I'm telling you, it's more of a win on my end.
And just, yeah, a couple more questions about specifically the traveling artist. What are some of the particular projects that they love?
So we did these,
Okay.
what are they? Smash books, right? So we did smash books, and I used all kinds of stuff out of the traveling artist packets. You know, crayons, markers, glue. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I got to be able to use a lot of them for things that I did, not specifically what they did. And then the Aztec rug is a huge one. And then the masks and the dragon, the chain link dragon. So those were our top ones that stick in my mind. And the
That was
Aztec
one, I think.
masks, those were huge because then the kids went crazy. They were doing all kinds of, they're like, can you print me out a different whatever? And then they wanted to do zombies and do whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that created that open conversation to be able to continue to do more things. So it was really a great resource and a great asset.
Perfect. That's great. And then I guess, what would you say to other educators that are maybe hesitating, that are looking at, say, this product on our website and kind of on the fence of, should I get it? Should I not get it? What would you say to them?
So again, what the resources that you guys sent in that box is literally priceless. So the hours and hours that someone would spend, no matter if you're a small library or a large library and have staff that put together your programming, it's done for you. It's done. You might have to make a few more copies if you run out, but you guys put several copies of the instruction and stuff in the box. The materials, again, they're quality materials. You know, it's not like they're breaking or snapping or not working or, you know, so it's high quality materials, definitely a time saver. And it's things that the kids like to do for all different age groups, you know. And the other thing is you don't have to monitor them, you know, while they're working on it. And I'm not saying ignore them, but again, your staff can multitask while they're doing a project in the craft room or in the STEM room at the library. So for us, it was priceless. It saved us countless hours of wages on researching and implementing, and then again just carrying it out. And then again, the take and makes is priceless for our community. Our take and makes, like I said, I couldn't keep them on the shelf. They were flying out the door.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I guess one other question, and then I'll open it up to you to see if you have anything else to share. But just what are some of the lifelong skills? You mentioned some of your, 19-year-old that, used to come to the library and now he or she helps out. And what are some of the lifelong skills that kids can develop and take with them from STEAM projects?
So again, first and foremost, most of our kids here are homeschooled. So they don't have that classroom environment, right? So the skills that you need to network with people in a personal level and not online are priceless. We have tried to do that. And again, it's a little different when you have all homeschool kids involved in your thing. They're not used to a classroom setting, like stay sitting down. They're up and wandering around and doing whatever. I'm like, no, 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 no. You need to come back here and concentrate. We only have this amount of time. So time management skills is what they have learned huge in our library. And I, as a mom, as an employer, as whatever, I think it's important for kids to know that. And when it comes to personal hygiene, your home, your job, your schooling, if you don't have good time management, you're going to fail. Bottom line. So time management to me is huge. And the kids have really learned time management working and doing STEAM projects in the library.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I still have a few things left, believe it or not, because the take and makes enable me to keep reusing it over and over and over and over, because most of the stuff comes back to the library. We have a sheet that says, please return A, B, C, D, whatever. And then you get to keep, your end product. So, I still have things left, which is amazing. I've had it for how long now?
Yeah, I was trying to remember. Wasn't it last summer? I think
A
you left
year and
it
a
a
half,
review.
right? And I still have products in there that I haven't touched.
Oh, great. That's
So,
great.
I love it. And again, we're small, rural library, we don't have the numbers. If we have 5 or 6 kids show up for something, that's I can't do the math, but out of 100 people, you know what I'm saying? 5 kids is what? 5% of our population.
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
10 kids is 10% of our population. So
yeah. A huge thanks to Tanya for sharing her story and showing how she implemented Traveling Artist. We're always excited to hear the creative ways our hands-on STEM curriculum is adapted to different learning environments. To listen to more stories from educators like you, visit edventures.com/spotlight. That's EDVENTURES.com/spotlight.